My name is Emily. I'm 31 years old and I work as a benefits planner for a global life insurance company. Despite the decent pay, my job often takes me to various companies, providing ample opportunities to meet new people, including men. However, recently, one of these acquaintances put me through a terrible ordeal driven by his grief for money, ultimately ruining a significant milestone in my life. Today, I'd like to share the story of this unfortunate event. I lost both my parents in a car accident when I was in elementary school. Raised by my maternal grandparents, who didn't have much money, I attended local public schools throughout middle and high school. Despite their financial constraints, my grandparents took out loans so I could attend a somewhat expensive college. After securing a job, I took over the remaining debt, leaving me a bit financially strapped. It was during this time that I met David through a mutual work connection. Upon sharing my financial situation with him, David nervously laughed, revealing his own struggle with student loans. "I'm in a similar boat, still paying off student loans," he said. "So, we're the debt repayment couple, huh?" I replied, feeling an immediate connection. "Exactly," I said. "I'd love to be debt-free as soon as possible." During our time dating, I found immense happiness with David, despite our limited disposable income. Over the 3 years, David continued to excel in his career, earning promotions that improved our quality of life. As his income increased, so did our relationship's stability. I, too, intensified my efforts in debt repayment, not wanting to lag behind. David always had encouraging words for me, reminding me not to push myself too hard. "Emily, if you collapse, I'll be ruined too. You're the reason I can work hard like this." "Thank you," he'd say. I reciprocated his support, acknowledging that he was my source of motivation as well. We emotionally supported each other through the daily grind, finding fulfillment and purpose in our relationship. It was during this high point that David finally proposed, expressing his desire for us to be lifelong partners, supporting each other through thick and thin. Overjoyed, I accepted, looking forward to our future together. We decided to rent a new condo and move in together, both of us earning well. Our relationship only seemed to grow stronger, with David's parents welcoming me with open arms, thrilled to meet the woman their son had chosen, a beautiful and talented graduate from a reputable university. I recall feeling a mix of awkwardness and flattery as David's parents showered me with compliments. With no parents of my own and my grandparents, who raised me, now in a nursing home, I decided it was time for David to meet my high school best friend, Melissa. We arranged to meet at a cafe near Melissa's condo. "Nice to meet you, I'm David," he greeted her warmly. "Happy to finally meet you," Melissa replied with a smile. "Emily told me lots about you. Please take good care of her, she can be vulnerable at times." Though Melissa and I were the same age, she exuded stability and reliability. I had always looked up to her as a big sister figure, leaning on her for support when needed. A few months after this initial meeting, Melissa once again proved her unwavering support when a significant turning point came. Introducing David to my best friend went smoothly, and soon after, David and I began diving into wedding planning. However, David's work began demanding more of his time, often intruding on our plans. Even on days we had set aside for dress shopping, urgent calls would disrupt our schedule. "I have to work this weekend. I know it's a big day for us. I'm really sorry," David would apologize. Understanding his commitments, I reassured him, "It's okay. I'll try on the dresses, snap some pictures, and we can pick one later. Thank you for understanding." During this time, David was swamped with work, often having to work weekends and travel for business trips during the week. Left to handle much of the wedding planning on my own, juggling it with my job became exhausting. But despite the challenges, our hard work paid off. The ceremony and reception exceeded our expectations, with heartfelt speeches from Melissa and blessings from my grandparents, who sent their regards through a video message. As we bid farewell to the last of our guests, David and I finally found a moment to relax in the backstage room, basking in the joy of our special day. I still vividly recall the moment David's demeanor shifted, his casual demeanor abruptly interrupted by a surprised look upon checking his phone after our small talk. As he hastily excused himself from the table to take the call, I assumed it was work-related, not foreseeing the impending upheaval about to unfold in our lives. In the backyard of the venue, a steep staircase intended for staff caught my eye as I navigated the space in my gown. Oblivious to the distraction caused by someone calling from across the hallway, I found myself momentarily off guard. In an instant, my body was airborne, propelled through the air. a scream piercing the air as I collided with a powerful impact, engulfed by intense pain. As I lay in the hospital bed, bandages enveloping my arms and legs, bruises and scrapes marring my skin, I struggled to piece together the events leading to my current state. Miraculously, no bones were broken, but the contusions and bruises served as a painful reminder of the ordeal. The nurse's explanation offered little solace, merely confirming that I had tumbled down the venue's staircase, the details of the fall shrouded in mystery. Hours later, amidst the confusion and physical discomfort, another unexpected blow struck. David, who had entered my hospital room, delivered a devastating revelation, severing our relationship with callous finality. "You're useless to me now," he declared, thrusting a settlement of $30,000 towards me. Stunned and bewildered, I pleaded for an explanation, only to be met with a cold dismissal. "Just lie down and shut up. You'll only make your injuries worse," he retorted, callously disregarding my turmoil. The crushing realization dawned upon me as he callously confessed to finding another woman, leaving me reeling in disbelief and heartbreak. I'm marrying her." "Sorry, Emily." David's words hit me like a ton of bricks. The disbelief mingled with the sting of betrayal as I struggled to comprehend the gravity of his revelation. "Emily, are you kidding me? We just had our wedding ceremony, and now this," I protested, the weight of his confession crushing my spirit. "But we haven't filed the marriage certificate yet. I was waiting for our anniversary to file the paperwork," I pleaded, clinging to the sliver of hope that remained. As the realization sunk in, I realized it was indeed the right decision to delay filing. David's genuine happiness at the unexpected turn of events betrayed his indifference towards my injuries and suffering. "I'll give you all the wedding gifts as a get-well-soon present. Bye," he nonchalantly declared before leaving, his laughter echoing in the empty room. "Wait, David," I called out, desperation tainting my voice. But he didn't hear, the sound of his departing laughter haunting my thoughts. Tears streamed down my face as I clung to Melissa, pouring out my heartache and despair. "It's been so tough," I sobbed, recounting the ordeal to Melissa. "I'm furious that this happened to you, Emily. Focus on healing for now. I'll look for the culprit," Melissa reassured me, her support a lifeline amidst the chaos. "The culprit." "David," Melissa's words hung heavy in the air, the pieces of the puzzle slowly falling into place. "He was even laughing when I was waiting for you to change so we could leave together. Then ambulances showed up, and it was chaos. They said you'd have fallen down the stairs. That's when I saw it. As they were carrying you, he had this nasty smile on his face," she recounted, a chill running down my spine at the revelation. "Did David push me down the stairs? What could he possibly gain from it?" The questions gnawed at my mind, but I pushed them aside, focusing on healing, as Melissa advised. As my physical wounds began to heal, so did the wounds of my heart, transforming my sorrow into fierce anger. I couldn't rest until the responsible parties were held accountable. A few weeks later, armed with evidence and fueled by the thirst for justice, Melissa and I lured David to a cafe, ready for payback. Determined to seek justice, I confronted David, who appeared noticeably different from the man I once knew. His flamboyant attire and unfamiliar accessories spoke volumes about the changes in him. Despite his seemingly good mood, I couldn't shake off the feeling of unease as he handed me an envelope. "What's this?" I inquired, eyeing the sack of cash within. "It's a get-well gift," he replied casually, his nonchalance grating on my nerves. "Good to see that both your scars and bruising have healed." "How generous of you," I retorted, unable to conceal my sarcasm. "Do tell, what brought this on? Why did you betray Emily?" I demanded, my anger simmering beneath the surface. David's smirk only intensified, sending a shiver down my spine. "Actually," he began, his tone dripping with arrogance, "the woman I've been seeing won $10 million in the lottery." $10 million? I exclaimed, disbelief washing over me. "So, what's $10,000 or $20,000 to me now?" he continued, his callousness leaving me speechless. It dawned on me that David had been involved with another woman even before we exchanged vows. She had struck it rich shortly after our wedding ceremony, prompting David to reconsider our marriage in favor of a new life with her. The revelation fueled the flames of revenge within me. "I can't forgive you," I declared, my voice trembling with fury. "I'll report you to the police." "Whoa there," David interjected, his tone suddenly grave. "Don't make it sound like I pushed you. There's no evidence." His words sent a chill down my spine, reminding me of the uphill battle we faced in proving his guilt. True, I conceded, recalling the staff's testimony of my supposed slip and fall. But they only reported what they saw. Melissa had done her own in-depth investigation. I'm really sorry for the trouble I've caused. He was blinded by the $10 million too, Rebecca said, her voice trembling with guilt. Her tearful confession was heart-wrenching, and I couldn't help but believe her sincerity. After apologizing profusely, she quietly disappeared without saying a word to David. Several weeks later, I received a desperate call from David, asking to meet and talk. When I saw him again, he was much more modestly dressed than before, a stark contrast to his previous flamboyance. I can't get in touch with Rebecca. Do you know where she is? He asked, his voice filled with anxiety. Why would I know where your $10 million lady is? I replied, my tone cold. Right? Listen, Emily, I've given you a total of $40,000, right? No, it's actually $60,000, including the compensation. I corrected him. Is that so? I hardly remember. Can you return half of that money, or even just $10,000? He pleaded. No, but I do have some valuable information for you. Information. David's curiosity was piqued. Yes, information that's quite important for you, I said, taking out my mobile phone. I played a pre-recorded video, and David's eyes widened in disbelief as Rebecca appeared on the screen. David, I have to apologize to you. I'm really sorry. The story about me winning $10 million in the lottery was a lie. I lied because I couldn't bear the thought of you marrying someone else, she confessed. I'm truly sorry. I just apologized to Emily as well. I plan to disappear from this town, and I can't tell you where I'm going. I'm really sorry for ruining both of your lives. David was stunned into silence, his shock palpable. The weight of his actions and the truth of Rebecca's deceit left him speechless. Pushing his spouse down the stairs for a non-existent $10 million, being fooled by a lie, impulsively committing a crime, and losing $60,000 in the process, his pathetic reality was laid bare. I left David as he was, head down and immobile, overwhelmed by the consequences of his actions and the ruin of his own making. I walked out of the cafe, gripping the receipt tightly. A few days after that encounter, my phone buzzed again. Another call from David. I've come to my senses. I was wrong. Can we start over? He pleaded. You've got some nerve spouting lines like that, especially after you mess up a chapter of my life, I retorted. The real culprit here is Rebecca for lying to me. If she hadn't lied, so you wouldn't have pushed me down the stairs, blinded by greed. I cut him off. Cut it out. You were already the worst when you cheated on me. Who would give a man like you a second chance? Those $10 million from Rebecca exposed the real David. In that sense, I could almost thank her. Her lie saved me from wasting my life on a worthless man. David tried to keep the conversation going, desperate to keep me on the line. It was a pathetic and futile struggle. I ended the call, feeling like I was pushing away someone who was desperately chasing after me. David had quit his job long ago, banking on Rebecca's $10 million lie. Now, it seemed he had to find new work. Melissa told me this as we shared drinks at my place over the weekend. She'd run into David in town and heard it straight from him. He can't get steady work because of his criminal record. Last I saw him, he was delivering food on a bike, she said. So he's doing delivery? Sounds like gig work, I mused. Seems that way. He's doing whatever he can find, Melissa replied, sharing some of David's job-hopping history. Traffic control for road work, janitorial services, lunchbox factory staff, warehouse worker. He looked worn out, all tan and sunburned, she added. It was clear that David's life had taken a downward spiral, a stark contrast to the bright future he once envisioned. This is karma for betraying Emily, I told David, and he nodded, understanding the gravity of his actions. If he's aware, that's good. I hope he continues to repent for the rest of his life. Would you consider starting over with him if the chance came? Melissa asked. No way. A man who would push a bride down the stairs in her wedding dress. Are you kidding? I replied. Melissa and I laughed heartily at the absurdity of the idea. Even if he threw $10 million my way, I'd still decline. A few days later, David contacted me again. Can you lend me $100? I'm really struggling here, he pleaded. No way. Please don't contact me again. And no following me. If you do, I'm going to the police. Wait, Emily, I'm really sorry, he tried again. Don't you dare call me by my first name, I snapped, hanging up and immediately blocking his number. If he crosses a line, I have no problem reporting him. Since parting ways with David, my life has been smooth. I got a good settlement, and he even paid for the venue. My grandparents in the nursing home and my coworkers all sympathize with me, which is to be expected. Anyone would feel sorry for a bride betrayed right after her wedding. But I'm not overly pessimistic about my current situation. My career is thriving and my personal life is fulfilling. Melissa and I are even thinking of going to a singles event. Having a divorce history isn't going to hold me back. I'm strong enough to make my fall down the stairs a talking point. Life has so much more in store, and I'm determined to find someone amazing and build a happy home. Our establishment caters exclusively to celebrities. If you're not affluent, we kindly ask that you refrain from visiting. Please vacate the premises, the manager asserted with little emotion. The following day, I couldn't shake the lingering sense of prejudice toward appearances prevalent in five-star accommodations. Yet the manager remained oblivious. He failed to grasp the influence wielded by my in-laws and the discontent he would face in the days to come. I'm Maria, 32, a homemaker without children. Stephen, my husband, and I crossed paths during my part-time stint at a supermarket. His serene and refined demeanor convinced me of his inherent decency early in our courtship. However, my astonishment peaked during a visit to his parents' abode for wedding discussions. The residence resembled more of a sprawling campus than a home, complete with imposing gates and towering walls that concealed its entirety from view. Beyond the gate, an unexpected spectacle greeted me. At the far end of the lengthy stone pathway stood a breathtaking country estate, reminiscent of a lavish villa. A meticulously maintained garden sprawled beside the grand structure, suggesting the handiwork of a skilled gardener. My eyes widened further as I caught sight of what seemed to be a pristine swimming pool and tennis courts nestled beyond. A wave of disbelief washed over me as I questioned the purpose of my visit. Stephen's dual role as a college student and part-time convenience store worker was indeed remarkable. How he managed such a balancing act puzzled me. According to Stephen, his family tree boasted a lineage of corporate titans, his father, mother, sister, and himself all holding esteemed positions as presidents of top companies. Unlike some celebrities who inherit family enterprises, Stephen's family forged their own paths as accomplished entrepreneurs. Following suit, Stephen treated the same path, utilizing his part-time earnings to cover tuition costs and kickstarting his own entrepreneurial venture. It was through this unique circumstance that our paths crossed, and now he tirelessly endeavors to expand his fledgling business. In my family, my father holds a regular job at a company, my mother is a homemaker, and my brother follows suit with his own corporate career. Doubts crept in, making me ponder whether I could truly fit into Stephen's world as his wife. However, Stephen remained unperturbed. What drew me to you was your warmth and joy. You're the one I envisioned sharing my life with, he reassured me. I made the decision to place my trust in Stephen and stand by his side, yet concerns loomed regarding my prospective in-laws. Would they view me, a commoner, as an adequate match for their son? Anxiety gnawed at my heart, fearing I might disappoint them. However, upon meeting Stephen's family, my apprehensions melted away. They embraced me with genuine warmth and hospitality, expressing delight that Stephen had finally brought a woman home. My father-in-law, in particular, seemed to take a liking to me. Maria, you possess a rare beauty, inside and out. Your upbringing shines through in your demeanor. Stephen's choice is impeccable, my mother-in-law praised. Both my mother-in-law and sister-in-law exuded warmth and kindness, and by the time our visit concluded, we had formed a genuine bond, evolving into good friends. Likewise, my own parents found solace in Stephen's gentle and composed nature, swiftly granting their blessing for our union. With their approval secured, our marriage proceeded seamlessly. As Stephen embarked on his entrepreneurial journey, he expressed his desire for me to leave my job and embrace the role of a full-time homemaker to support him. We settled into an apartment close to my in-laws' residence, relishing the early days of our marriage. Occasionally, we'd gather for dinner parties and barbecues at my in-laws, who, despite their hectic schedules, embrace Annie, our live-in nanny, as part of the family. Witnessing their genuine kindness left a lasting impression on me, reassuring me that I could be myself without feeling intimidated by their celebrity status. As 3 months elapsed since our nuptials, we decided to host a grand celebration for my father-in-law's 60th birthday. Wanting to reciprocate the care and hospitality shown to us during our wedding, Stephen and I took charge of arranging the festivities. With Stephen preoccupied with work, the responsibility fell on my shoulders, a decision we reached after discussing it together. Your father adores you, Maria, so you have the freedom to choose. I believe he'll be happy anywhere and with anything, Stephen assured me. Accepting that I had the liberty to make my own decisions proved to be the most challenging aspect. Seeking guidance, I confided in a friend who suggested opting for a top-tier hotel, especially since my father held such esteemed status. Following her advice, I discovered a luxurious 5-star hotel conveniently located near my parents' residence. Despite my lack of experience with upscale accommodations, I assumed it would meet the standards. Nevertheless, I resolved to visit and judge for myself. I opted to visit the hotel first, feeling a bit apprehensive about going alone. To ease my nerves, I invited my best friend from high school to join me. Upon making a reservation for lunch, I was immediately struck by the restaurant's impeccable and gracious service. Clear signs of a 5-star establishment, I thought. Dressed in a smart and elegant ensemble, a white blouse paired with a sleek black skirt and pumps, I felt ready to step into the realm of luxury. My friend, too, looked lovely in her floral dress and stylish heeled boots. As we made our way to the hotel, excitement bubbled within me, akin to the anticipation of embarking on a thrilling journey. Little did I know, the experience awaiting us would exceed all expectations. I drove to the hotel in my trusty car, a faithful companion since my single days, and followed the directions to the parking lot situated at the roundabout near the entrance. The attendant who guided me was exceptionally courteous and helpful. However, as I stepped into the lobby, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. A sharply dressed man caught my attention. His stern gaze seemed to pierce through me. Though he bore the demeanor of a hotel staff member, neither my friend nor I recognized him. His impeccable suit and poised posture exuded an air of authority. I couldn't fathom why he was scrutinizing us so intently. Descending into the underground parking lot, I couldn't help but feel a twinge of self-consciousness as my modest car stood amidst a lineup of sleek black luxury vehicles. Observing some guests being chauffeured in with doors ceremoniously opened for them only added to my unease. Tempted to hail a cab, I hesitated, knowing it would only delay my arrival when I was already so close to home. As my friend and I entered the hotel, the individual who had been observing us approached. "You seem a bit out of place here. Can I be of assistance?" he asked, his tone polite yet carrying a hint of condescension that didn't sit well with me. "I have a lunch reservation here." "What do you mean by unsuitable for the hotel?" I questioned, feeling the surge of indignation. The taller man continued, his gaze directed down at me. "Your choice of vehicle and attire don't quite align with the usual clientele of this establishment," he remarked, punctuating his statement with a laugh. My cheeks flushed with embarrassment, appalled by his snobbish demeanor. Unable to meet his gaze, my friend averted her eyes. Despite feeling the sting of embarrassment, I refused to let it drive me away. Though typically reserved, I possess a resilient spirit, and I was determined to confront the individual responsible for these disparaging remarks. I needed to know who dared to speak about me in such a derogatory manner. "Are you a member of the hotel staff?" I inquired sharply, my eyes fixed on him. "I happen to be the manager of this establishment," came his haughty reply. Privately, I couldn't help but find his emphasis on the hotel's prestigious rating rather absurd, though I chose to keep this observation to myself. His response only served to aggravate me further. "Does this hotel judge its patrons based on their cars and appearance, adjusting its treatment accordingly?" I challenged, refusing to back down. The manager's disdainful sniff and snort in response only fueled my determination. "The clientele should align with the hotel's esteemed reputation. Maintaining that standard ensures guests feel comfortable and at ease," he asserted. His words grated on my nerves. "Are you implying that we're somehow tarnishing the reputation of your establishment?" I retorted, feeling my irritation mounting. The manager clicked his tongue disapprovingly. I couldn't help but feel sorry for my friend, who I had invited along. The thought of canceling our reservation and leaving crossed my mind. Just as I was considering our next move, an elderly hotel staff member approached me and politely inquired, "Ma'am?" Upon learning of my lunch reservation, he respectfully acknowledged the manager with a bow and said, "Allow me to escort you to the restaurant." With a sense of relief, I followed him to our destination, noticing the manager's lingering bitter glare. Unlike the manager's demeanor, the hotel employee who guided us was courteous and welcoming. "You've traveled quite a distance, and I apologize for any discomfort you may have experienced. We're renowned for our exquisite cuisine, and I trust you'll have a delightful stay," the young manager offered apologetically. I couldn't help but wonder how such a youthful figure found himself at the helm of such a prestigious establishment. He explained that the hotel's previous owner had retired, passing the reins to his younger brother, with his son assuming the role of manager. Despite his impressive academic background from a top-tier university, the manager lacked prior experience in hospitality and struggled to uphold the hotel's esteemed standards. It's disheartening to witness even long-standing patrons being overlooked and compelled to depart over minor matters, the elderly employee lamented solemnly. "I've dedicated my life to this hotel, only to find myself deemed expendable in its quest for rejuvenation. I'll be bidding farewell at the month's end. It seems the hotel no longer values the loyalty of its devoted staff, instrumental in achieving its coveted 5-star status." As the elderly hotelier had assured, the cuisine surpassed all expectations, leaving my palate thoroughly satisfied. The head chef, who greeted us personally, exuded skill and experience, his age mirroring that of the hotelier. Yet a nagging concern lingered: would he too fall victim to the hotel's restructuring? "People find joy in satiation," I remarked to my best friend as we exited the restaurant, our faces radiant with contentment. Just as we prepared to depart, the manager approached us once more. "I eagerly anticipate your return to our restaurant," he remarked, his persistence unwavering. Though our decision to leave remained unchanged, the manager's resolve remained steadfast. "I'm sorry, but individuals like yourself detract from the dignity of this establishment. This is a hotel frequented by celebrities, not suitable for those of lesser means. Kindly vacate the premises immediately," the manager declared bluntly, leaving me too stunned to protest. Though the hotel itself was undeniably elegant, the manager's rudeness and discourtesy left a sour taste in my mouth, prompting me to reconsider hosting my father-in-law's birthday celebration there. Surely, there must be a more hospitable venue nearby. When I recounted the incident to my in-laws, they listened intently. However, upon learning the name of the hotel, they exchanged puzzled glances. "Why do we visit this hotel? I'm curious to experience such a renowned establishment," my father-in-law suggested. Much to my bewilderment, I couldn't comprehend his eagerness to return to a place where I had encountered such disrespect. "Let's dress casually," my father-in-law proposed, urging everyone to do the same. He instructed us to proceed ahead while he would join us later. From the moment we stepped into the roundabout, the manager's piercing gaze never wavered. The lobby was bustling with activity. Guests lounged on plush sofas or sipped coffee, creating an atmosphere akin to a bustling event venue. As we settled onto a sofa beneath a grand chandelier, awaiting my father-in-law's arrival, the manager stormed in, his expression thunderous. "You've returned, evidently without learning your lesson. You never seem to grasp it, do you? Arriving in a minivan, utterly disgraceful," he bellowed, his tone dripping with disdain. Undeterred by his haughty demeanor, I countered, "We're here to celebrate my father-in-law's birthday. I made a reservation, and there was no mention of vehicle type. What's the issue?" Unfazed, the manager continued his tirade. "Your attire screams unsophisticated. You belong in one of those seedy roadside inns," he spat, his words drawing shocked glances from the other guests. "This hotel should be open to everyone, shouldn't it? We're prepared to pay. It's absurd to judge guests based on arbitrary criteria. Treating guests this way is utterly appalling," I declared, garnering nods of agreement from those nearby. "The customer should always come first, shouldn't they? Selecting guests based on appearance is simply unacceptable." The manager, visibly flustered, flushed red and retorted, "We are a luxury establishment. We cater to celebrities. If you're not affluent, kindly depart." "In that case, let's all head home," my father-in-law suggested. His words prompted many in the lobby to rise and depart, murmuring their discontent. "I won't be returning, and I certainly won't recommend this place to anyone," they vowed as they attempted to leave, prompting a heated exchange with the rushing employees. In reality, the individuals in the lobby were all acquaintances of my father-in-law who had gathered at his behest. His slight delay was due to his efforts in rallying them together. My father-in-law had been a familiar face at the hotel since the days of its previous management. In the early years, he often dropped by in his work attire, yet he was captivated by the hotel's consistent dedication to treating every guest with the utmost respect. His company had a tradition of hosting extravagant parties at the venue annually, becoming deeply intertwined with its history. He introduced the hotel to his family, who also frequented its halls. Given the collective stature as company presidents, the frequency of these gatherings was notable. My mother-in-law utilized the hotel for client entertaining, while my sister-in-law conducted executive training sessions within its walls. Even my husband's company held celebratory events there, underscoring the significance of each family member's company to the hotel's success. Then, a voice broke the tension, begging for forgiveness. To our astonishment, it was none other than the hotel president, the manager's father, kneeling before us. The elderly hotelier, recognizing my father-in-law, had urgently contacted the president. With a profound apology, he chastised his son for his egregious behavior, compelling the manager to kneel alongside him in remorse. "I deeply regret the misunderstanding, sir. Had I known your esteemed position, the treatment would have been different. It was inappropriate to base service on financial status." The manager attempted to justify himself, but his excuses fell flat. "There's no need for apologies to me. It was my daughter-in-law who was mistreated by your manager, a woman as dear to me as my own daughter. Remember who the hotel truly serves. I have fond memories of your predecessor, but it's time to part ways," my father-in-law asserted firmly, signaling our departure from the five-star establishment. Leaving behind the pretentious atmosphere, we relocated to a beloved diner frequented by my family. With its cozy private rooms and welcoming ambience, the diner was the perfect setting to celebrate my father-in-law's milestone birthday. The delightful food and warm atmosphere brought joy to my in-laws, marking a memorable conclusion to the day. At my father-in-law's suggestion, we extended the celebration to include my parents, transforming the occasion into a lively and joyous affair. My husband and I gladly footed the bill for the party at the familiar diner. It was a modest expense for us, given the casual nature of the establishment. Once again, I reflected on our commitment to remain grounded, refusing to let wealth cloud our values or lead to misconceptions. As time passed, rumors circulated that the manager had been dismissed and demoted to the role of a cleaner. Although the specifics remained uncertain, it was clear that the hotel's reputation had suffered irreparable damage. 2 years later, the once illustrious establishment shuttered its doors for good, a cautionary tale of the consequences of arrogance and elitism. The next time I drove past the hotel, the sight was dismal. The glass windows shattered, furniture stacked haphazardly in front of the entrance, turning it into a desolate wasteland. The legacy of the hotel, once steeped in tradition, lay in ruins, all due to the actions of one misguided individual. Despite my father-in-law's humble upbringing, we share a strong bond, and I cherish the time spent with him, my husband, and the rest of my in-laws. As news of my pregnancy spreads, anticipation fills the air, with everyone eagerly awaiting the arrival of the